As early as 1918, the Bolsheviks used youth organisations to indoctrinate young people. They had a mission to capture the hearts and minds, and to this end, 3 youth groups were set up: the Little Octoberists for children aged between 7 to 9, the Young Pioneers for children between the ages of 9 to 14, and the Komsomol for young people between 14 and 28. These groups were based on the model of the Scout movement and had a similar ethos and uniform. Even their slogan, "Always Prepared," was based on that of the Scouts. For their uniforms, they wore white shirts with a red neckerchief, the colour of the Communist Party. For the Little Octoberists, the focus was really on having fun. They played games, hiked, and went to free summer camps. The purpose of this was to create a fit and healthy population with high moral standards and one prepared to enter the workforce when they reached adulthood. The other key focus was on indoctrination and nurturing communist ideals. As the children got older, the activities became increasingly politicised. For example, the Young Pioneers were instructed to remove religious imagery from their parents' homes and replace the religious corner of the house with an atheistic one. The Komsomol was much more serious and had a more active role in the distribution of propaganda to workers and peasants. They attacked religion and class enemies. The Komsomol were amongst the most fanatical, enthusiastic communists, and by 1928 there were 2 million Komsomol members. It was an exclusive club. Many applicants were rejected due to immaturity or lack of proletarian social origins. They played a hugely significant role in the Cultural Revolution between 1929 to 1931 and later in the Great Patriotic War. As previously mentioned, the Komsomol had a very significant role in Stalin's Cultural Revolution between 1929 to 1931. During these years, they fulfilled the following roles. They were regarded as soldiers of production during the first 5-year plan. They were described by the first director of Magnitogorsk as being the most reliable and powerful organising force of the construction. They improved labour discipline in factories and mines. During the quicksand society of the 5-year plans, hundreds of thousands of poorly educated peasants flocked to industrial towns and cities looking for work. These new workers were ill-disciplined and managers relied on the Komsomol to maintain order. They led and joined shock brigades. These were groups of highly motivated workers sent to oversee engineering projects. They enforced the forced migration of peasants during collectivisation and collected state procurements of grain. They led the campaign against religion. They attacked non-party professors and teachers in schools as part of Shulgin's education reforms after 1929. They enforced discipline and standards in schools as this was no longer the remit of teachers. And they educated peasants to try and liquidate or end illiteracy. Finally, they established a Komsomol cell in every kolkhoz and sovkhoz. Those were the state farms set up during collectivisation. The role of the Komsomol was reduced after 1931. This was because Stalin was concerned about the damage to education that had occurred during the Cultural Revolution, and he looked to reassert authority. However, they did remain significant in developing industrial projects during the second and third 5-year plans in the 1930s. Pioneer heroes are remembered throughout the former USSR for their role as frontline soldiers in the Great Patriotic War, as well as in the resistance movement against Nazi Germany. The youth organisations, and the Komsomol in particular, are great examples of continuity throughout the time period. Although the role of the Komsomol did change over time, it was formed in 1918 and remained active until 1991 and the fall of the USSR. The Communist Party consistently used this group to indoctrinate the young and relied on its members to be the most enthusiastic people in the country. In fact, some Communist Party youth groups still use the name Komsomol today, and the newspaper, the Komsomol Pravda, is still published. Youth groups in the USSR came about due to both Lenin and Stalin's desire for social and cultural change. The indoctrination of young people is a key part of establishing a totalitarian state that demands enthusiasm from all citizens, and this was a key cause for the formation of the groups. There was a sinister side to the fun activities of the Little Octoberists. The children were being prepared for their future roles as workers and soldiers of the USSR, and communist values were being nurtured within them. The Komsomol were also a key factor in creating and driving change themselves. As mentioned before, they played a key role in the Cultural Revolution between 1929 and 1931, as well as the 5-year plans and the Great Patriotic War. Their work to liquidate illiteracy was helpful for the state because it enabled more people to access written propaganda, but also helped to create a better educated workforce, better suited to working in the factories.